on, guys? Welcome back to the Rantin Review Pro Wrestling, and this is a news break. I haven't said that in a while. But there's a bit of a light news today in the world of pro wrestling and sports entertainment. Jade Cargill opened up about her WWE status and how she wants to be in a quote-unquote a different limelight. Cargill was pushed very heavily, as we all know, in AEW, had a very long undefeated streak, was the first TBS champion and remained that champion for a long time before dropping it to Chris Statlander. And now that she's going to WWE, a lot of people have different feelings about it. But as always, there's a difference between what fans online think and what reality is. And the reality of it is, Tony Khan even said in the press conference after Wrestle Dream that, you know, he offered a lot of money to Jade. He wanted Jade to stay there, but she decided to go to WWE, and there were no hard feelings. A lot of people apparently backstage haven't said anything bad about Jade going over to WWE. Cody, Triple H, Paul Levesque, everybody is very happy as far as the industry is concerned about Jade going to WWE, and Jade herself feels like she's walking in a new light. When talking to People magazine, she said, AEW prepared me. It prepared me to have thick and tough skin. If I would have been a part of such a machine like WWE at a younger age, I would have probably been in my head so much. But because I've worn several hats in this life and I've already been thrown into the fire, so it's just prepared me for these moments. It's not unusual to think about this with Jade, and I said since I first saw Jade Cargill in AEW, she felt more like a WWE star than a wrestling star. She felt more like a sports entertainer than a pro wrestler. And that was part of the Cody influence. Cody wanted to bring a lot more sports entertainment into AEW and have that be a big part of AEW. It's still sports entertainment in a lot of ways as AEW, but there's definitely a hardcore, or I should say more traditional pro wrestling sensibility about the company. Whereas WWE is, as we all know, it is mostly, the entertainment is huge, the E is huge, and the sports part is kind of small. And it's really about being a star, and that's what Jade Cargill wants to do. She's said several times while she was in AEW, she wanted to do fashion, she wanted to do movies, she wanted to do all kinds of stuff like that. If you want to do that, the best place is WWE. AEW is, and I've said this several times, WWE, if we were going to compare the wrestling industry to like the movie industry, as I tend to do because they're kissing cousins, it's all entertainment. WWE is more like Disney or Paramount, and AEW is more like Lionsgate Studios or A24 or something like that, where you're going to get stuff that's not as commercially big, but is probably more critically acclaimed. A lot more focus on acting than special effects, as opposed to the bigger studios, or in the wrestling world, something like WWE, which is much more on the presentation and being this all things to all people kind of a thing, and more about the celebrity side of the sports entertainment wrestling business than it is on the athletic side of it, I should say. So I'm happy for Jade, and it's good to see her showing up in all of these different things. She's getting exactly what she wanted. She is being pushed very heavily even before wrestling one single match in WWE right now. Still no word on whether she's going to be on NXT to get a little bit more seasoning, or she's going to the main roster, but I'm sure we'll see that. AEW is not short for any talent itself. Of course, Adam Copeland, who's now come into the company, will be making his big TV debut tonight on AEW Dynamite. Tony Khan has talked about extensively in the press how happy he is to have Adam Copeland, a major star over the last two decades in the world of pro wrestling and sports entertainment, in AEW. But there's another star that is being bid for right now, Nakajima, who's currently in Pro Wrestling Noah, although the reports are that he's wrestling without a contract right now. There's a lot of people that want Nakajima, and for those of us who don't watch Pro Wrestling Noah a lot, I've seen a lot of Nakajima over the last 2 years because Pro Wrestling Noah has been increasing its presence online and around the world. And of course, I saw Nakajima at some of those crossover shows in New Japan earlier in the year. That guy is a beast, and definitely a lot of people in the wrestling world want him. WWE is after him, of course, and AEW is after him. Tony Khan has even addressed this. He said that he heard that Nakajima was interested in AEW, and he said he was definitely interested in it. So I would not be surprised to see Nakajima there. Although I think, and this is a topic for a different time, I think New Japan should probably be making a bigger push for him. They kind of need somebody like Nakajima to kind of shake up their main event scene. They've done a great job at setting up all of these young wrestlers who are in the next year or two going to be in that main event scene. But their main event scene right now, you've got a lot of aging wrestlers. Tanahashi's aging. Tetsuya Naito is aging. Minoru Suzuki's barely used. And the Sonata experiment is... The mileage of it may vary, let's put it that way, depending on the fan. So I think the company that would benefit the most from getting Nakajima would be New Japan. But I do think the company that probably seems like I get a gut feeling that he's probably going to wind up would be All Elite Wrestling. And of course, WWE can throw out a lot of money if they feel that they really want to for Nakajima and get him in there. Where he would fit in WWE, there's another question. They've worked wonders recently over the last 2 years because the company's been in creatively better shape. The way they're using Shinsuke Nakamura right now in this feud with Seth Rollins is pretty damn good. So it's not the same thing, whereas like 3 or 4 years ago, Japanese wrestlers and going to WWE would get the short end of the stick. Things have changed and gotten better and improved for Japanese wrestlers in WWE. Still a long way to go, so that may be a consideration for Nakajima. But if I had to put my money on it, I would say AEW, again, who I think probably needs it more, would be New Japan. But that's the news in this quick news break today on the Rant and Review Pro Wrestling. What do you guys think about these news stories? Where do you think Nakajima is going to wind up? Where do you think Jade Cargill is going to wind up? Is she going to be on NXT or on the main roster in WWE? And is Adam Copeland going to be maybe not as big a high-profile addition to AEW as a CM Punk was, but maybe long-term a more beneficial addition to the roster? Let your voice be heard in the comment box below. Until next time, I'll see you guys here for more news, rumors, and commentary on the Rant and Review Pro Wrestling. Have a good day.